Hey everyone, my name is Wedge and we've made it halfway through Dominaria preview season. I know, it feels like we've already seen so much, but there's still another week to go. I'm not sure my little heart can take it. In this video, we're talking tribal goodness, crazy huge spells, historic nonsense, and a lot more. If you've missed any preview coverage up to this point, you can click the first link in the description, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button right down there, helps a lot. Damping Sphere is 2 mana for an artifact. If a land is tapped for 2 or more mana, it produces 1 colorless instead of any other type and amount. Each spell a player casts costs 1 more to cast for each other spell that players cast this turn. A Thran relic, it has spent 10,000 years doing absolutely nothing. Yeah, no kidding. This is the wettest of all blankets ever, and it's only an uncommon. What an angry hate card. It hates Storm players straight to death because you basically don't get to cast anything beyond the first 2 spells. And even more insane than that, it despises Tron. This card had to be designed with Tron in mind. It might as well say, hey, you with the Urza garbage, yeah, no. What an absolute beating. Super cheap to play a friggin' uncommon when it could have easily been a rare, and outrageously powerful. Now this is how I want to start the day. I got me some Russell and Jimmy's over here. Mesa Unicorn is a white bear with upside. Because 2 2s for 2, not good enough, gotta give them something. Of course, the card's design is not why we're talking about it today. That artwork is, my goodness, how majestic is that? Winona Nelson, you have outdone yourself this time. That is downright beautiful. Honestly, Dominaria, what is even happening on this plane? The Antiquities War is 4 mana for an enchantment saga. On 1 and 2, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal an artifact card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. On 3, artifacts you control become artifact creatures with base power and toughness 5/5 until end of turn. Say hello to the latest and most awesome addition to the booty deck, Treasure Galore. There's nothing better than turning a bunch of gold coins into 5/5s. I thought Revel in Riches and Mechanized Production were my only options, but no longer. The Antiquities War grabs us relevant artifacts, then pumps them all to Kingdom Come. It's always been my dream to literally pummel someone with treasure. I know, I'm a weird guy, leave me alone. Anyways, the war is sick, the art from Mark Tadine is sick, I'm in, I'm 100% in. Naru Meha Master Wizard is 2 of anything and 2 blue for a 3/3 legendary creature human wizard with flash. When it enters the battlefield, copy target instant or sorcery spell you control. You may choose new targets for the copy, other wizards you control get +1/+1. Naru Meha comes with a heck of a lot of bells and whistles. Obviously needs to have flash to synergize with her own trigger, but the goal is to cast this when a bunch of craziness is happening on the stack. You can copy a counter spell, something more dangerous, and she gives all of your other wizards a nice buff. The problem is that she is crazy expensive when you're already using mana in a firefight, and you can only copy one of your spells, so you're definitely using this and more mana. It's a bit clunky, I love the ability, but we're talking about something that needs to justify its presence, when relatively similar spells at much cheaper cost don't tend to make an impact in a format like Standard. Looking at you, Twin Cast and Reverberate. Anyways, I love it because it's Wizard Tribal all day, but that 4 mana is tough to hold up all the time. She may function better as a follow-up to Wizard Bolt or Wizard Counterspell, and that might be it, we'll see. Tetsuko Umezawa Fugitive is 2 mana for a 1/3 legendary creature human rogue. Creatures you control with power or toughness 1 or less can't be blocked. A build around commander if I've ever seen one. 2 mana is crazy cheap, and blanketing the battlefield with unblockable for your tiny creatures, that has a ton of value. Tetsuko is a rogue, but wow, this card feels like a ninja in a lot of ways, doesn't it? Sneaking around, being all stealthy and whatnot. I'm thinking, at least in commander, this is funny with Hope of Gyraper, Notorious Throng, Chasm Skulker, Blighted Agent becomes a terrifying win condition. I'm actually loving Tetsuko. So simple, but so dastardly. I think I'm adding this to the commander list. It's a genius design. Unwind is 3 mana for an instant, counter target non-creature spell, untap up to 3 lands. Because a card like this has never been good in Pauper. Nope, nothing like this has ever broken the format into pieces. Come on, Wizards. Eventually you're going to stop printing free spells in blue. Eventually. I mean, today is not that day, but eventually. And I know this isn't as impactful as something like Peregrine Drake, but think about Pauper for a second. There are so many non-creature spells in most decks. Unwind, hilarious. Because blue needed the help. Unreal. It's totes unreal. Josu, Vess, Lich, Knight is 2 of anything and 2 black for a 4/5 legendary creature zombie knight with a kicker cost of 6 and menace. When Vess enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, create 8 2/2 black zombie knight creature tokens with menace. 8 of them, dang! Talk about all or nothing, this is like Army of the Damned, but even more awesome. Stick this in any zombie deck, anything running Cabal coffers, and you should be just fine. Even without the kicker, don't pretend that a 4/5 with menace for 4 mana is bad. It is not, it is good, dude. Brother Vess, you are gigantic. Maybe dying was the right decision for you after all. Too soon? Nah, look how happy he is. I think, actually I don't know. Rite of Bell Zenlock is 2 of anything and 2 black for an enchantment saga. On 1 and 2, create 2/0/1 black cleric creature tokens. On 3, create a 6/6 black demon creature token with flying, trample, and at the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice another creature. If you don't, this creature deals 6 damage to you. So after a couple turns, you basically get a Lord of the Pit. That is awesome. Having to make sacrifices to keep the demon around, dirty. Bells Unlock, dirty. This card, pretty dirty. Great for token strategies, anything with Anointed Procession, to be honest. Or in Commander, Prosh, Savra, Mazarek, Tesa. We could do this for a while. Sacrificing creatures is a pretty popular strategy. The Rite does it very well. It's a sick design. The Eldest Reborn is 5 mana for an enchantment saga. On 1, each opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. On 2, each opponent discards a card. On 3, put target creature or planeswalker card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. Wow, the Eldest Reborn is only uncommon? That is some power! Better than a decent amount of the other sagas, the Reborn does a bunch of stuff over the course of the 3 turns it's on the battlefield. Making everyone sacrifice and then discard is pox-tastic. And then you get to reanimate for 5 total mana over 3 turns. This is serious value, like, wow, this is strong. And even with all that said, one more thing strikes me about this, the artwork. From new Magic artist Jen Ravenna, the use of colors and textures, I can't say enough. I feel like the most broken record that has ever existed, but the art in this set, am I right? Goblin Chain Whirler is 3 red mana for a 3/3 Goblin Warrior with first strike. When it enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to each opponent and each creature and planeswalker they control. You know what, Wizards? Fine, let's just give the Goblin players whatever they want, because that's what you do with Goblin players. You give them a mile, they take over the world. You're playing with fire here, Watsy, literally. The Chain Whirler drops down and annihilates every token that has ever existed in your game, and every game in your local game store, and the one happening in the parking lot. It also pings walkers and players, because why not? 3 mana for a 3/3 with first strike is already fine, and with Goblin War Chief in tow, I can't do this right now. If a Goblin deck exists, I'm going to freak out. Oh my goodness, wait a second. I'm going to end up making that deck. A lot of you want that deck. Oh, son of a... Adventurous Impulse is 1 green mana for a sorcery. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature or land card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. This would be an interesting budget ad for our latest awesome deck tech, Mono Green Goblin Charbelcher in Modern. It's hilarious. Self-promoting in my own videos is great. Seriously, go watch that deck tech. It's, I think, one of the best we've ever done. Anyways, the Impulse is some solid card filtering that's available for Pauper. Green is getting some sick card draw lately. What has the world come to? What I think is particularly interesting, the flavor text. Every Odyssey begins with a single step. Every Odyssey. Yeah, I noticed. We all noticed. We're watching you, Wizards creative team. We're watching you so hard. Marwyn the Nurturer is 3 mana for a 1/1 legendary creature elf druid. Whenever another elf enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Marwyn. You can tap Marwyn to add an amount of green mana equal to Marwyn's power. Okay, Wizards, I get the joke. Let's print overpowered nonsense until Wedge actually dies. Marwyn is basically what happened when Elvish Vanguard and Priest of Titania had an adorable elf baby that also terrorized all Magic players for the rest of eternity. It's an elf Gyre Sage, and that card was cool as heck. 3 mana, don't care. Dies the removal, shut up. Turn 1, Llanowar Elves. Turn 2, this. Turn 3, I bash my head against the table, get disqualified, and go buy a slushie from 7-Eleven to calm my nerves. What even is this? Gah! Grand Warlord Rada is 2 of anything, 1 red and 1 green for a 3/4 legendary creature elf warrior with haste. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control attack, add that much mana in any combination of red and or green. Until end of turn, you don't lose this mana as steps and phases end. Rada, girl, you have come so far. Dang, you swole as heck now. If we're talking playability, that is a powerful trigger on top of haste, letting you activate it right away. Even attacking with just Rada and even 2 other creatures gives you a sick mana boost for either combat tricks or post-combat main phase shenanigans. Strong card to build around in something like Brawl, easily playable in any type of red-green mid-range creature-based strategy in Standard, as she can just put you ahead on board pretty quickly. She isn't a dinosaur, but imagine her in a deck that ramps you to Carnage Tyrant right quick. Dirty. Regardless of that, I expect she'll find her way into more angry commander strategies like Xenagos, God of Revels, Saskia the Unyielding, even something like a Tarka World Render. That free mana is great everywhere. Get an aggravated assault in there and you're basically good to stomp. Enjoy flattening faces. Primeval's Glorious Rebirth is 5 of anything, 1 white and 1 black for a legendary sorcery. Return all legendary permanent cards from your graveyard to the battlefield? I can't do this anymore. I'm not used to seeing these cards at proper rarities. This isn't mythic? Doesn't this seem like a mythic? I don't mean power level wise necessarily, but flavor wise, this seems like a mythic, right? It is 7 mana, but it brings all of your legendary nonsense back. All of it. All legendary permanents, artifacts, planeswalkers, creatures. I don't think words exist in the English language to properly explain just how bonkers fantastic the set's turning out to be. And that artwork, those are the dragons, like the dragons. I can't handle this. I can't. If this video doesn't end soon, I think I'm gonna have a coronary. Like, I actually think I'm gonna die. Cabal Stronghold is a land card you can tap to add 1 colorless mana. You can also pay 3 and tap it to add 1 black for each basic swamp you control. Does this mean what I think it means? They're never printing Cabal coffers again, are they? Cabal Stronghold is basically a watered down but very cool version of Cabal coffers, right? It only counts basics, it's more expensive to cast. Is this one of those MTG finance moments? I can feel my wallet tearing itself to pieces. Reginald, don't go towards the light. Reginald, no! Now this is the kind of standard land cycle I want to see. Enemy check lands are back and it couldn't have happened at a better time. And my goodness, look at that artwork. Someone slapped me right in the face. With Sulfur Falls around $10 and most of the others above $5, this rare land cycle already has financial windfall for players who open them. Another great opportunity to get them in foil. Very happy with this. I'm basically over the moon. And again, look at that art, specifically Hinterland Harbor. My goodness. Get me like 12 prints of that for, reasons. We've seen so many amazing cards from Dominaria, my brain's fried. This set is everything I've wanted for so many years, and we're not even done with preview season. The set speaks to my mind, my heart, and my soul. I know I'm hyped a lot, I do, but Dominaria feels like magic returning home. It feels comfortable and exciting and engaging and just full of life and pride and community and everything that makes magic great. Like, I hope you feel the same way too. I'd love to hear what you're thinking, so please leave your thoughts in the comments and we'll talk about it. And as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you next time. This video is brought to you in part by TCGplayer.com. When I do these shoutout sections at the end, I always think I'm gonna do something else besides talk about Dominaria boxes, but I can't justify doing that right now. The set has me tearing up. It's truly phenomenal. And if you don't have a local game store, or yours is charging way too much, and you wanna help the channel out, you can pre-order boxes by clicking the link on the screen for $92 each. Simple as that. However you get your Dominaria fix though, I know you'll be happy, so just enjoy it.